Okay, so the first session, we will quickly talk about the history of artificial intelligence and a quick overview of Microsoft Azure AI services. So who am I? My name is Lex Lee, and I've been Microsoft MVP for about 10 years. And in the meantime, I'm also producing podcasts and write blogs. And daily work is currently engineering manager. And in my spare time, I'm also writing software for different kind of purposes. You can read my personal blog, follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I often share my thoughts on different technologies as well as job openings that from my friends. And I'm also running a small consulting company, LeXtudio. We maintain a few open source projects which are quite popular in different domains, and also sell commercial products in a few areas. You can go to our homepage in order to dig further into those products if you happen to be interested in them. Okay, in the first part, I will quickly guide you through the history of artificial intelligence. So let's pause for a few minutes regarding the concept of AI. I believe many of us has already experienced the AI and its impact via different pop cultures. And in many ways, films are probably the best way to show you both the video and audio impact of how artificial intelligence based robot might change the world, right? For example, in either Blade Runner or The Matrix, we experience the fight between human and machines. And in the emotional film of artificial intelligence, a boy was sick, so his parents chose a robot to play the role of their song. So, and that actually led to a lot of tragic moments in that movie. And also, when Disney and Pixar produced the movie of Wallet, it showed us how cute a machine can be, right? A small robot actually evolved with emotion and interact with another robot. So those kind of, pop culture based artificial intelligent image actually build up a lot of, the feeling of how artificial intelligence should look like. But we still need a scientific level of a definition to be given to AI. So the question is always, what is exactly artificial intelligence? And so here is a widely recognized test we are going to use to tell if something or a machine is actually can be called artificial intelligence. So the test is like this. In a special room, we arrange two cells that isolated from the outside. And in one of the cells, we have a machine. We mark it as A. And another cell, B, we have a human sitting there. But since they're behind the scene, we don't know which one is human, which one is a computer. And we had an observer or interrogator outside of the cells, and we mark it as player C. And the role of C is like this. C will try to ask questions in the written way and pass those questions into the two cells. And the computer or the human will try to give answers to those written questions. And this kind of questioning actually can be in multiple rounds. And after several rounds, we will let the player C to just try to distinguish the two guys that it questioning, whether this one is human or the other. Yeah, if somehow C feels that these two actually are not distinguishable, then we say this computer or machine A passed the test and can be identified as true artificial intelligence, because at that level of intellectual, we can see that it's almost the same as a true human. So this test is actually called the Turing test. It was actually summarized and invented by a very famous scientist. We will visit his story later. So based on this simple but accurate test for artificial intelligence, we actually can divide the research of artificial intelligence into smaller areas. For example, the first areas come into sight is computer vision, right? When we check the Turing test, we notice the computer must be able to read the written test, understand the questions. So the first thing is to emulate human eyes and read the questions from the paper. So that's clearly the area of computer vision. It tries to extract information from images or video. And the second area is also kind of intuitive, called natural language processing. Once you have the information extracted from image or video, they come in the format of human language. So naturally, we need some algorithms be there to pass those languages input into the building blocks of different language, either English or Chinese or Japanese, Spanish. Wow, there's actually a lot of human languages out there, right? So once there become the building blocks such as norm, verbs, or adjective, and the other things, then we need to generate kind of the knowledge based on those building blocks. So in that way, the computer or the machine will try to learn the knowledge from the language input. And that's an area called machine learning. And recently it's more popular with the deep learning algorithms. And the fourth area is called robotics. That means if a machine has enough knowledge and respond to human input, maybe this machine can perform certain activity, right? In the Turing test, that computer must be able to write back the answers on a paper of on a sheet of paper, right? So in that way, we need a certain mechanism or components or parts to fulfill that functionality. So that's the area of robotics study. And next area is the AI ethic. That means when we develop a piece of algorithm or a complete AI system, what kind of impact will this kind of innovation carry out to the human society, right? We already discussed hotly on ChatGPT and its impact on us, not only developers, but also ordinary people. So that kind of area is going to be studied by the AI ethic scholars. And the next topic is cognitive computing. So this is an area where people study how to utilize the knowledge base collected by the AI system and use that to implement something similar to the human thought process, such as perception, reasoning, and decision making. So that's also a quite important area. With cognitive computing advancement in the past few decades, the AI system was able to play very well in board games such as chess. And the last areas we listed here is the multi-agent system. It actually is a field of study that focuses on the development of intelligent system that can work together to solve complex problems. For example, every year there are going to be a robot football competition. You have several robots in the football fields that collaborate with each other and playing against another team, right? So that's the so-called multi-agent system. Notice we only list a few of the areas in AI research here. It's actually not a complete list. There are many other supporting areas in this field. Okay, next we will talking about Alan Turing. So he was the guy that started a lot of the important fields here in computer science. In 1936, he wrote a paper regarding the Turing machine, which later became the foundation for the modern computers, right? Nowadays, if you use a laptop or a mobile phone, actually it's kind of the implementation of the Turing machine. And he also invented the Turing test in 1950, but he passed away sadly in 1954. And to honor him and also recognize the future computer scientists working hardly in this field, the Association for Computing Machinery, ACM, started to present the Turing Award since 1966. It's currently the most important award in the computer science field. Okay, next we will quickly go through the timeline of AI evolution. So ever since Turing defined the Turing test in 1940s, people started to enter this research field and try to see what kind of advancement or innovation are needed to finally implement the true AI that can pass the Turing test. Before it's reaching the very mature state, actually it enters different phases in 1950s until 1970s. In that area, many of the fundamental research on computer vision, on the other systems are developed. However, at that time, the actual computing hardware, that means computers like the modern ones, are not yet ready. So many of the algorithms developed at that time cannot be easily implemented or tried out. So we call that period, a long period of time, the AI winter. That means people cannot move the research further very easily during those long time. And it was until 1980s and 1990s that people actually moved further into this field with the hardware improvement. And that developed a generation of expert system that can help people to perform certain automation tasks. And after that, we enter a new phase where the research enter a hot field like neural network, and machine learning. And it's in the recent decades that after the big data evolution and deep learning, we see the AI become smarter and smarter. And it's recent years, because of the innovation driven by many important startup companies, we are able to observe more of the advancement in this field. For many of us, it's not easy to read all the scientific papers to observe the changes around AI, but we actually can learn a lot from the news. For example, back in 1997, when the AI research was still in neural network in expert system, IBM was able to create a huge system called Deep Blue, and which is actually a good player in chess. So they host a competition between the system of Deep Blue and the world champion at that time, Garry Kasparov. And surprisingly, the machine won at that time. And it was an important milestone in the AI research history, that for the very first time we observe a big news right around the globe that everybody knows now the best chess player is a machine now. And after that, we still hear a lot of news regarding AI, like in 2010, Apple actually moved a voice assistant, Siri, on its flagship mobile phone, iPhone 4S at that time. And using Siri, we actually can give voice command to iPhone operating system, and it can help us play music, choose from playlist, set events on calendar, and perform other kind of automation. So for the very first time, ordinary people can enjoy the many benefits from a system, from the AI. And in 2016, there's another competition between machine and human that's hosted by Google and DeepMind. And they create a Go player, AlphaGo, and it play against the human world champion, LeXtudio, at that time. And surprisingly, it won with 4 versus 1. So that also brings a storm of news across the globe, because people used to believe that computer cannot easily beat human player in Go for another decade, but actually it came at that time. And in the past few years, we noticed another startup, OpenAI, produced very cool AI systems. In 2021, they announced and published a system called DALL-E, and which is an AI system that can draw different kind of images based on a few paragraphs we input. And also, it announced another system called Codex, and Microsoft wrapped it up as a commercial product, GitHub Copilot. And if you are a programmer using Visual Studio Code, maybe a few years ago when the Copilot was shipped, you play with it because it was free for a very long time. And it was last year that OpenAI upgraded DALL-E to the version 2, and we noticed a few big improvements there, that it draws astonishing images based on human input. And most importantly, last November, they announced another AI system called ChatGPT, right? You can actually talk with this AI system, and it responds naturally in human language. So many people actually say ChatGPT maybe already passed the Turing test, but we'll see. We'll see how it evolves further. Okay, now we move on to part 2. We're going to quickly review the history of Microsoft AI research. So Microsoft started as a software company and somehow entered the market of operating system in 1980s. And then in 1991, Microsoft started to set up its own research department in order to fund certain technology that required by its Windows and DOS operating system at that time, as well as the Microsoft Office suite of software. And initially, in the first decade, Microsoft research focused a lot on the basic operating system technology, networking protocols, and multimedia encoders. That's a lot of innovation at that time. And since 1998, when Microsoft opened its research center in China, Microsoft Research Asia, it starts to dive into the field of artificial intelligence, computer vision, and natural language processing. And starting from there, a lot of new innovation started to came out from Microsoft Research, such as 2010, the device of Kinect, and in 2015, the device of HoloLens, and in 2016 to present, it has products like CNTK. But in recent years, Microsoft also collaborate or partnered with many of the startup companies like OpenAI. In 2020, Microsoft partnered with it initially and invest $1 billion into OpenAI to fund its research on the GPT system. Just a couple of weeks ago, Microsoft announced a further round of investment that's of $10 billion. So we're gonna navigate through some of the products, and you can see this picture shows the Xbox One Kinect sensor. So it's a big advancement in the computer vision area. So with the camera on this sensor, it captures human gesture along with human body. So the algorithm can extract the skeleton of human body it captured and decide which part is the human head, which are the hands and the legs. So it can understand your gestures in front of it. And together with the Xbox system, people can play games like dancing, like tennis, like volleyball. So at that time, it was really a cool device, and many people purchase it and play with it. And the next significant product in this area is Cortana, right? It's a system similar to the Apple Siri, and it empowers Windows Phone at that time, and later also deeply integrated with Microsoft Office. The next one is a different device, augmented reality device called the Microsoft HoloLens. So if you had a HoloLens and put it up on your head, you can see through the glasses of different kind of virtual objects. Like this picture showed a lot of chat and text information along with them. So it's an integrated system with either voice control and gesture detection and computer vision. So a lot of things are fully integrated in this just a very small device. So it's really the evolution of AI together with the computing hardware. And not only with innovation in devices and hardware, Microsoft also built up frameworks for machine learning and artificial intelligence. So CNTK is one of the framework from Microsoft. Of course, the other companies like Google or the open source community also have their frameworks such as TensorFlow and PyTorch. Okay, so in part 3, we will dig further into Microsoft Azure to see what kind of artificial intelligence services are there. You know, Microsoft has been studying the AI technology since 1990s. And through a decade, Microsoft actually accumulated many useful AI systems. So when Microsoft started its computing platform in 2010, Azure, at that time was still called Windows Azure, naturally it started to shape many of the AI achievement into products that can be consumed by Microsoft customers. Here we compile a short list of typical Azure services that are related to AI. So the first one is machine learning. It's more like a studio where you can connect the system to your data sources, not only database, but maybe other kind of data storage. And you can choose different kind of machine learning algorithms and then use the data to train those so-called machine learning models. And once you have the models, this machine learning studio also make it super easy to expose the models as web services. So later you can consume this kind of services in your mobile application or desktop application or web applications that make it very easy to make use of those models. And Microsoft also produce its own pre-trained models as services, such as the cognitive service, where you can convert voice captured to text. You can also generate speech voices from text, and it also provide services to analyze images so that you know in a certain picture what kind of objects are inside. Either it's a table or a tree or a kind of animal. This service can generate kind of the knowledge about that. So it's very cool that you can use world-class pre-trained models directly from a cloud computing platform. And also on Azure, there are other kind of services that was AI integrated. For example, Azure Stream Analytics. For example, if you want to analyze many tweets on the Twitter platform in order to predict the stock price in the coming hours or days, this kind of service stream analytics can help you, right? It carry out AI-based algorithms to perform real-time analysis on the input and generate kind of the summary of what kind of things it observed from that a lot of data. And also another service, Azure Video Indexer. It's also pretty cool. That means you no longer need to navigate a long video in order to understand what are the sections and what are the contents of this video. You can just feed this video clip to this cloud service, and the AI embedded inside can automatically split the video into sections and extract the content of the video for your review. So they significantly boost up human productivity. And last, Microsoft recently integrated the OpenAI models into the Azure services, called it Azure OpenAI service, like ChatGPT, like Codex. So you, as a cloud computing customer, you can train it with your own data in order to get every benefits that you would like to see. Okay, next, I'm going to show you a few screenshots. The first one is the Machine Learning Studio. You can see on the right-hand side, that's where the data are feed and the train results. And the left-hand side is a diagram, the system diagram of the Machine Learning Studio. Next, it's a screenshot for GitHub Copilot. So it was the free preview phase has long passed, and now it's a subscription, yearly subscription you can purchase from GitHub, and it's actually not quite expensive, but very helpful when you type source code in the editor, either Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio for Windows. The Copilot can generate sample code for your reference, and it became much more powerful recently, can generate a large block of source code for you. And recently, Microsoft also announced GitHub Copilot for Business. So if you are a big enterprise and would like to keep your information private, you can purchase GitHub Copilot for Business, which is tailored for your special needs. The other system from OpenAI are the system of DALL-E. You can see this rabbit picture was actually generated from the paragraph of description. And ChatGPT, I think many of you are quite familiar with. So when I prepare the slides, when I try to understand how AI system evolved, I asked ChatGPT to prepare many of the materials. And next is a screenshot of the new Bing. So Microsoft had a search engine for a very long time, but it was kind of traditional. But until Microsoft recently integrated the GPT engine inside, so that you can chat with this system to perform information research. And you can see it provides a completely different kind of experience. And it was this Tuesday that Microsoft, together with OpenAI, announced the next generation of GPT system, GPT-4. And you can see from the parameter number, it's a lot larger compared to the previous generation. So we're gonna try it out and see how many more features it can support and how more powerful it is. And earlier today, Microsoft announced another Copilot called Microsoft 365 Copilot. So different from GitHub Copilot, this one fully integrated with the Office suite. So It can help you generate summary during Teams meeting. It can help you generate, better understand the data collected in Excel, generate different kind of diagram. It can also help you prepare slides like this. Not only add more paragraphs, but also generate the exact image that you need to use. Okay, so that's a quick recap of what we discussed here in this session. Yeah, thank you. I'm just talking about the services, so later the other speakers will give you more demo on the different kind of AI systems. Yeah, thank you.